Welcome back, business besties. Today we're talking about hiring. You might be really new to this game and you're wondering who actually should be my very first hire, Nicole. Well, I got you. Or maybe this is a scaling game that you've been playing a while and you already have a group practice, but you're really stuck around who should be my next hire. You're going to leave this conversation knowing exactly what to do. So let's dive in. The very first thing you want to do is remember, systemize. So I just want to let you know this is a hiring conversation, but please do not hire first. We're going to systemize first. I teach you all of this in episode 119. I'm going to put that in the show notes. It is called How to Grow into a Group Practice. I walk you through my 5-step scaling method that got me to multiple 7 figures and sold, and no one's sharing this. Okay, so jump in there first. You want to systemize everything. Otherwise, you're going to end up being the CQA, the chief question answer. And now it's time to hire your very first hire. If this is your first, and don't worry if you miss this step, you might actually have missed this step and you might still need to do this step. So listen up if you have a group already. Your first hire should be a mini me, somebody that is very similar to you in personality, in energy, in modality. Let me share with you one of the big mistakes that I made. I graduated from grad school when I was 25. I fell in love and I ended up moving to Russia. Kind of a long story. I can tell you about that more another time. I closed my practice for love. That's very much my vibe. I wouldn't do that now, but I was in my 20s, carefree. In some ways, I'm so glad I did that. But here's the thing. I had about 30 to 40 clients and I just gave them to a therapist and said, I'm going to be traveling. Here you go. I don't know if I'm even coming back. They're yours. Don't pay me. Just enjoy. I didn't have a business savvy anything back then. Guess what happened? I didn't love Russia or the person I was with anymore. So I moved back and I checked in with her. I didn't expect my clients back, obviously, but I checked in with her. Oh, how's it going? Nobody stayed, guys. Nobody stayed. And it was my mistake because I'm very bubbly. I'm high energy. That shows up in my style of therapy. I'm direct. I'm casual in my approach, right? But funny enough, in my modality, I love to go deep. Like, let's talk inner child all day long. I was doing IFS before IFS was a thing. I was doing EMDR when it was not trending. I loved that. And she, the person I moved everybody to, was a really amazing therapist. She was very different than me. She was about, honestly, I think she might have been in her 50s. So clearly different age. I was 27. She was 50. I don't know what I was thinking. She was not a mini me and nobody stayed. So pick somebody who is your age. She was very quiet and passive and less direct. And I can just imagine my poor clients when I had moved away. I thought they were in good hands because I didn't know what I was doing. And they probably sat down for their first session expecting a similar vibe. It's like going into your favorite restaurant where you live and then going to the same restaurant in a different city. You expect a similar vibe. They sat down and she was quite quiet and they're probably in their head going, what is this? This isn't what I expected. A brand, you are the brand. So your mini me, remember this, jot this down, has to really have a similar energy, similar personality, similar modality. And you're going to love them. We love people like us. Have that be your first hire. Now, if you're like, oh God, Nicole, I'm like 10 therapists in and I don't have a mini me, you may not need one. So the reason your first needs to be a mini me because you are going to move clients over to them. Why are you going to do that? So you don't have to live session to session anymore. So you can bring in income and do less clinical work. So you can work on building this group practice. And then you're going to increase your rate, which I'll get to in a second. So if you already have a bunch of therapists, ask yourself, you know what? Would the practice benefit from a mini me? And if you're still seeing clients, then it's a yes. If you want to see less clients and move some over, then it's a yes and hire your mini me. That is step one. And then guess what? The moment you hire, and we'll get to in a sec who your next hire should be after that. The moment You hire, guess what you are? Congratulations, you are a CEO. I'm so proud of you. You have another hat to wear now, though. I'm so proud of you. You're a CEO. How does it feel? Yeah, it feels, I hope, terrifying and exhilarating and so good. And that's why you, my friend, now clinical director, you need to have a higher rate, and it should be at least $25 higher. My psychology rate, like to see me for therapy, was $275. To see a senior therapist in my clinic was $185. Psychologists were $225. So I'm $275. Every other psychologist is $225, okay? And then the regular therapist, we had mostly fully licensed, $175. I know that's a lot of numbers. I hope you got them all. But just know that I was a lot more expensive. And if you do the math, you'll notice I was even more than $25 more expensive. Now, I was $100 more expensive than a fully licensed person. They're $175. I'm $275. Increase your rate. You see, you're going to notice that people want to just see you. In order to reduce that, you're going to increase your rate. So there's incentive to see other people on your team. Oh, but don't just increase your rate. Also remove yourself from the online booking consult call section. Remember online booking? Jump in other episodes if you haven't heard me talk about this yet. We're going to move people to online booking. Online booking is only becoming more popular with AI, because now we live in a world that I press a button and a bot, my pet robot, talks to me within seconds. So people will have less patience for contact forms. Wait, you mean I have to press a button and wait hours, if not a day, for a human to respond? No thanks. Let me book online. Instant gratification. But you're not going to be at the top anymore. You're not going to offer free consults anymore. You're too busy steering this ship called group practice, working on your business and not in it. Remove yourself from the free consults. You can still be at the bottom of your online booking for your current clients to book therapy. I love Jane app because you can customize it. So if you use Jane, write a little note that says not accepting new clients, current client bookings only. Will some clients still book with you and not read the note? Yes. So you'll have to have your admin do a quick QA check. But this is your first hire. Congratulations. Now you're probably thinking, okay, now Nicole, what do I do after that? This applies to you in terms of who should be your next hire after your mini-me, but it also applies to you if you already have a group. I'm going to share my opinion, but here's the thing. My opinion and what I've learned based on my knowledge and experience is less important than your data. You live in Canada or the States, very likely. That's the only people I work with, therapists in Canada and the States. Your data. What if you live in Georgia? It might be different than New York City, or even different than Wyoming, or even different. I've got people in my program from Hawaii or the Yukon or Winnipeg or Toronto, all of the states. It's a little bit different, isn't it? Your next hire should be informed by your market. Here's what I mean. Are you tracking your inquiries? That means when people do email, because there will be that person that sends you an email, does a contact form. Less people will, but there's going to be people that do, right? Are you tracking what they're asking for? What are you referring out? That is your next hire. Okay, I need to hire somebody who does EMDR. Oh, wow. Okay, you know what? We're getting a lot of inquiries about play therapy. We're getting tons of inquiries for like older men. Jot it down, track it. That is your next hire. Now, what I know to be true in terms of business, I believe your next hire, but check your data, okay? Because your data is always going to be the first place that you go, and then take action based on that. If you have no data, here's what I think you should do. Your next hire should be a couples therapist. Why? Oh my gosh, for all the reasons. I saw couples, and I think my first, I hired a bunch of interns first, which I'm going to get to, mini-me's, and then I brought on couples pretty soon after, because number one, it's going to set you apart. everybody's offering individual therapy. So it's going to set you apart. But a couple of things. They get busier faster because they see multiple populations. Okay. So everybody sees individuals. I don't think I've ever really met a therapist that's like, I only do couples. They might only do couples later on when they want to niche down. But for the most part, everyone starts with individuals. So your couples therapist sees individuals, number one, and couples, number two. They have twice the chance to get busy. There's two times, right? They're going to get twice as busy because they're talking to two totally different populations. But wait, there's more. My favorite part. One, and you know this if you see couples, one couple equals 3 or 4 clients. So you have the couple, that's the client. Then you have 2 people who are very stressed and probably have trauma. So now the beautiful thing is, okay, so one person is going to go maybe to your mini me. Maybe the other person will go to your other mini me, or maybe to you for now. I know we don't want you to see more clients, but that one couple is one client, but then ends up being, okay, now she's doing the therapy and then the other partner's doing the therapy. But wait, what about little Jimmy, that 10-year-old that has been impacted by all the fighting? Oh yes, he's going to come in too. That's going to be your next hire, the child. So my favorite next hire is couples or actually families, because now you have all the people, and then children. Hire multiple populations and you will get busier. And I can hear what you're thinking already. Oh, wait, Nicole, but I don't see couples. I can't supervise that. I don't see families. I don't see kids. So I want you to know this. Then just hire a fully licensed person. You as a CEO, you don't have to be an expert in couples if you're not supervising. That's the point of scaling, is you hire the things that you don't offer yet. Some of my members in my coaching program will say, well, I don't know, I feel uncomfortable because I'm the CEO hiring these things outside my competence. But you're not supervising. So just hire fully licensed. They will teach you, right? Like you'll learn all of the things they're coming as a competent, licensed professional in a highly regulated field. Trust them. You might be wondering, okay, when do I actually hire my next person? I've got 1 or I've got 5. Like, when do I hire the next one? You want to put that job posting up on Indeed. I did an episode on where you should be posting. So you want to grab that episode. I'll put that episode in the show notes for you as well, like where you actually post. But you want to post the job posting when your current therapist is 60 or 70% full. There's nuance here, 60 or 70. If you are American and you're in network, you want to post it when you're 60% full. Why? Well, the world of credentialing. We both know it is long, it is hard, and it is annoying. Give yourself time to do that. Now, even if they start and they're not fully credentialed yet, they can do private pay until they are fully credentialed. This is why I have a credentialing expert in my program, because there's a lot of nuance here. But please don't wait, if you're private pay and you're Canadian or American, until your current therapist is full. Think about it. It could take 1 month, 2 months by the time you go through the interview process. If we ever work together, I actually give you a 6-step hiring model. I give you 6 hoops that they should be jumping and going through. You don't hire them until they pass with flying colors, A+, with all of those. Those take a minute. Slow to hire. There's a saying, slow to hire, fast to fire. So it takes a minute. And what I don't want for you is you say, oh, she's full, he's full, I'm going to post a job posting now. It takes 2 months, and that's very stressful because now you have a wait list, or these people are bouncing and going to someone who can see them right away. You could also be wondering, what type of person do I hire? What kind of license? There is fully licensed. There is pre-license. We call that qualifying in Canada. Then there's what I call interns. Those are basically students, practicum students. Remember that? When you had to do your practicum, maybe they called it an internship. I call them interns. My first few hires, I suggest this for you too, were interns. Why? Because you keep 100% cash flow. Now double check 2 things. 1, where I live, can I hire an intern? Am I allowed? You are not allowed, unfortunately, as of today, this could change, in California to hire interns. They only can work for nonprofits, okay? So double check if you can. If you're in Canada, you're fine. So that is number one, check the state. A lot of the states, we actually track this in my program. A lot of states, we have a whole sheet, like which states can, and there's quite a few. Now, the other big thing is you're usually not allowed to pay them. There was really strict rules in Canada. They've changed slightly, but it's recommended that you don't pay them. I didn't get paid for my internship. I don't know about you. Most of us didn't, right? But they get paid in school credit. They get paid, quote unquote, in all the learning and training. So it depends. Number one, can you supervise? Make sure. Obviously, only hire people to supervise if you can supervise. But I loved interns because guess what? You keep 100% of that cash flow. We build 125, and all of that flowed into this very hungry group practice that I was growing. You see, startup costs will impact cash flow. So at the beginning, I was willing to do the work. Okay, I'll supervise because I want to keep most of the cash. Now, if we ever work together, I'll teach you if you can't supervise yet, you can hire a supervisor and still keep a really big profit, like margin there. If that terrifies you, or if you just don't have the bandwidth for that, what about pre-license? What about a qualifying therapist? Because you keep 10% more. You see, fully licensed, we pay 60%, right? But if they're not licensed yet, you pay them 10% less, which means you boost your margin by 10%. I suggest if you have it in you, because it's just a season, the building phase is the hardest, right? It's where you're laying those bricks and you're exhausted and the house is a lot. But one day you live in that house for your whole life. I personally, if you want cash flow and you want to grow fast, I would hire interns. I think honestly, my first, I want to say, I forget the exact number, but a big chunk of the first people I brought in were interns. Then were pre-licensed. And you might have heard me say this. It was actually less intimidating as a baby boss to bring in therapists that were green and were baby therapists like me, and then eventually fully licensed. Now, of course, if you can't supervise these populations that we talked about, families, couples, even kids, then just hire them as fully licensed. Totally fine. But I really want this to sink in for a second. In what industry, by just making a different hiring decision, can you increase the income coming into the practice, like the actual margin, gross profit margin, by 10%? Almost no industry. Typically, if that happens, there's an impact in the quality of the service. Let's say a grocery store buys cheaper food and then less people buy because it's cheaper. Do you know what I mean? But we can hire almost licensed. They went to school for their master's for a very, very long time, or they're just finishing up their master's and the quality is there because you're overseeing it, but you keep more money. Last but not least, let's talk about what if, Nicole, I have like 3 amazing people. Do I bring them all at once? Should I stagger it? Should I just bring on one? I'll tell you, you could do whatever your bandwidth tells you. How do you feel? I brought on a whole lot of people at once, but I was able to because I was systemized. Everything was in a manual. We had procedures and policies. The onboarding was all done. It was a well-oiled machine. My friend, once you have a well-oiled machine, you can it's like a conveyor belt. You can imagine 55 therapists, 3 years. I needed a bit of this beautiful conveyor belt. And if a conveyor belt feels not human enough to you, like if you're like, oh gosh, who wants a conveyor belt? I did have therapists tell me, thank you so much. I was really feeling anxious joining a team. It's a lot, joining a whole new culture. But the onboarding was so streamlined that I really appreciate it. They appreciate conveyor belts. It makes life easy. So then you're not focused on questions and I'm so lost. They can actually focus on what matters, which is connecting with their peers and doing good work. If you have multiple people at the same time, here's what to do. You can take them all on, but make sure you double check these 2 things. Number 1, if you're going to bring on multiple therapists, make sure they have different availability. You don't want them competing against each other, so that different availability, fill them in the different slots. I required evenings and weekends. We all had to do it at the beginning. So they're going to do some evenings and weekends. The other person's going to fill in the other evenings and weekends. And also, so different availability, different populations. One's your mini me and does what you do. One sees couples, perfect. The next person sees families, amazing. Then it makes sense to hire these people. And even now that you offer a new service, you will attract more people just because you offer this new service. They're going to offer different availability, different populations, but there's one more, different modalities. If they can even offer different modalities, like one also does EMDR, like you don't want them all to be doing CBT. It does matter less if they're seeing different populations, of course, but it's even better if you can do not only different availability, different populations, but different modalities. And then the second thing is you can push their start date. Let's say you meet two people. One sees children and families, and one sees children and families and couples. And you're like, there's a lot of overlap there. I want to be able to get them both busy. What you could do is say yes to both of them, send them the contracts. If I ever work with you, I have all the contracts and templates for you. And then you're going to say, okay, Susie, you'll start, what works for you? Does 2 weeks sound good? Okay, perfect. That's your start date. But Jim, we're going to have you start 1 month later. So you can have it all. You can bring in all the abundance. You're just going to stagger it. I want to leave you with this. In this very moment, your perfect person, what we call in the clinic growth map, your hell yeah, like, yes, this is a person I want to work with me. They are looking for you. They are sitting at their computer looking for you. Are you posting that job? Are you missing it? There's all this flow, never-ending stream of pure abundance coming your way, and just allow yourself to step out of your comfort zone, take a deep breath, and do it scared. I'll see you next week.